What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our late night news roundup here on Anfield Agenda, where we have some developing news around Rodrigo, but it isn't around Liverpool. We're going to talk about a Paris Saint-Germain offer that has been talked about tonight. We're going to ask, does this mean the end of Liverpool's pursuit? Is it even real? Or are Liverpool going to move in another direction? I'll try to fill you in on all that we know over the next few minutes, but of course we want to know your thoughts, so do let us know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, and we'd love you to hit that subscribe button. Also, over the next few minutes, we're going to be talking about Luis Diaz starting to throw his toys out of the pram and ask Liverpool to accept an offer from Bayern Munich. Wouldn't happen to be because it gives him a load of dough, would it? Well, we'll talk about it in a few minutes. Right, friends, let's start off with Newcastle. And tonight, Newcastle are £100,000 a week away from matching ISAK's demands, at least according to Graham Bailey. Newcastle are shocked that ISAK wants £300,000 per week to sign a new contract at St James's Park. Now, I don't know if Newcastle are able to give him that amount of money, but for me, it feels like a price to, get a move away. But the fact that he's injured and all, we may have to lower our offer to Newcastle if we go back in with that injury-prone player and all. Their own words, not mine. I'd happily have him, ladies and gentlemen, but, Newcastle are trying to say he's injured, so we should probably go lower, right? Let's move on to Luis Diaz. So this from Pepe Sierra said, Luis Diaz has requested that Liverpool, if they're not going to renew his contract as promised in May, accept the offer from Bayern that is about to arrive. Diaz wants to improve his conditions and sees the opportunity with the German team. Shall I give you the real version of this? Luis Diaz is crying because he isn't getting enough money. That's where this is. The as promised in May part is just another sly little dig at our football club. And I'm quite frankly sick of it. I was sick of it when Sadio Mane and his fans told Liverpool that they were disrespecting him and that he'd be really, really loved at Bayern Munich. Was he? No. Luis Diaz wants to go to Bayern Munich. Why? Because they're willing to put more money on the table. That is it. It isn't because he dreamt of playing for Bayern Munich when he was growing up. That dream was apparently Barcelona, who weren't interested in paying what it took to get Diaz. And if Bayern Munich want Diaz, then all they have to do is get to the number that Liverpool are asking for and stop trying to play games in the media. Same with Pepe Sierra and Diaz's camp. Show respect to the club that were respectful to you when you were in a very difficult situation, and just be honest and say, I'm a multi-millionaire, but I want to be a multi-millionaire many times over, and this isn't about sporting ambition, it's about dough. You signed a contract at Liverpool. If you want to move away from the club, then you best hope that Bayern Munich stop being cheap and pay Liverpool a fair asking price, or stop crying. Next up, Liverpool are continuing to keep a close eye on Toulouse centre-back Charlie Cresswell, with the 22-year-old firmly on the radar of the club's recruitment team after being scouted on multiple occasions last season. So, to the best of my understanding, 22-year-old centre-back was part of the England squad that won the Under-21 Euros. I think moved over to Toulouse from Leeds, but don't hold me to that one. And I don't know much about him after that. I think 6'3", 6'4", something like that in height, and fits the profile of the type of young centre-back that we were talking about Liverpool looking for when they sold Jarell Kwanzaa. As we've always said, we don't know what's happening with Canade, and if Liverpool can get an agreement with EBU, I do expect we'd move for the likes of Charlie Cresswell or Jarell Haddo or another young centre-back. And by the way, just to come back to the Diaz situation, I've nothing against Luis Diaz, but I really don't like our football club being dragged through the media over money. And that's all this is about. It isn't about sporting ambition. It isn't about broken promises. It's about money, plain and simple. And Diaz wants more of it. And he's entitled to look for it. But again, not at the reputational risk of our football club. I'll defend the club, thank you very much. Next up, Hugo Ekitike, medical update from Fabrizio Romano. He has completed the main part of his medical, said Fabrizio, with a 6-year contract set to be signed. And we believe a £79 million deal all in, £69 million plus £9 million in add-ons. And we also believe that he will meet up with the rest of the Liverpool squad as part of the pre-season training tour of Hong Kong and Japan. Probably a little bit too soon to get him involved in the AC Milan game, but he will be heading over to join up with Arna and the rest of the group. Right, next up, the bombshell news from this evening that I mentioned at the start of the video. Transfer News Live have put out a piece that said, Paris Saint-Germain submit €100 million bid for Rodrigo amid Liverpool links. And look, this is understandable, again, from their side, if they're going to move somebody on. And yes, they have the money, and I'm sure that they can give him the sporting ambition, because let's be honest, Paris Saint-Germain, right now, really good club, just won the Champions League, play really good football, and could probably match Rodrigo's ambition. So I don't know where we're at with this one. Some of the words from the piece said the same. It seemed Liverpool were pushing, to pursue the signature of the Brazilian. However, Paris Saint-Germain have stepped up and made first concrete move to sign the player. According to Defensa Central, Paris Saint-Germain have already submitted a €100 million bid for Rodrigo, and that Xabi Alonso doesn't rate the Brazilian all that highly and thinks that he'd be more of a squad player. So I don't know how this one pans out. I don't know if Liverpool try to go head-to-head with Paris Saint-Germain. I don't know if Liverpool maybe want to move in the Malik Fofana direction, back to Alexander Isak. Like I've said all the way through, I don't profess to know the ins and outs of Liverpool's desires in attack this summer, but it's getting interesting, right? For what it's worth, I do think Liverpool will get the money that they're asking for the likes of Darwin Núñez, whether that's from Saudi or whether that's from somewhere in Europe. I know Liverpool fans are panicking over a centre-back right now, and like I've said, the club will be aware that we need to bring in a centre-back, because you're all right, we do. But right now, we have to see what happens with Canada, I think, before we make that decision on the likes of Mark Gay. I think it should be promising to people that look at the Mark Gay situation, much like the Ekitike situation, where he had offers from other clubs, but he also wanted to just wait to see what Liverpool were going to do. And we know that Spurs are interested in Mark Gay. I'm sure Newcastle are still interested as well, but also Liverpool haven't made their decision yet. And if those rumours around Arne Slot having spoken to Mark Gay's camp about where he'd see him playing and stuff like that are true, I still think it comes down to what happens with Ibrahima Konate. So for me, I don't think you're going to see any movement on Mark Gay unless maybe somebody like Spurs go in and test Crystal Palace's resolve, and maybe Liverpool spring into action. Also, for what it's worth, Spurs have come to the table and declared their interest in signing Rodrigo Goish from Real Madrid. So Liverpool, PSG, and now Spurs in the mix. So let's see how that one pans out. I really don't know. We did run a poll tonight on the channel where we said pick one of these two, Rodrigo or ISAK, and it was 50-50 all the way through. Right at the end, it was 51% for Rodrigo, 49% for Alexander Isak. Let me know what decision you guys would make in the comment section. For me, I'd probably come down just about on the Isak side, because I think it would give us, well, a lot of firepower through the centre, and that's what we were lacking last season. So for me, I'd be happy with either, I'm not going to lie, but would probably come down just on the side of Isak. Don't know enough about Malik Fofana to know if he would be of the calibre or not, but again, trust the club's recruitment team. So that is where we're at for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there won't be an early video from me tomorrow, but Connor may jump on, of course, if we get the announcement that the Ekitike deal is all signed off. I will be unavailable until about 8 PM tomorrow evening, so I will be back with a late night agenda, and I'll catch up with you all then. Looking forward to reading your comments, and again, let me know your take on this Diaz situation, because I just hate our club being belittled, and I hate them being dragged through the coals when we've been very, very fair, in my opinion, with Diaz and his family throughout what has been a difficult time for them. So I think it's just about money personally, but looking forward to see what you guys have to say. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.